Okay, now let's build the model in Excel. So you can see there are two worksheets. The first one, template. Okay, this is where we're going to build the simulation model. I have the problem statement over here just in case if you don't know the context. Basically, it gives us some data over here. This is the demand history over 20 years. Okay, every year has two halves, first and second half, and the corresponding demand. If you remember the framework I showed you, the first step is to derive the distribution of demand from the data. So we have done that several times. Now let me do that again. First of all, we need to find out what are the possible outcomes for demand. There are a couple of ways, and this is one of the ways I have been using. Just select this whole column, go to data using filter, and then you can see the possible outcomes here. Okay, 500, 700, 1,000, 1,300, 1,500. Okay, so let me write them down. 500, 700, 1,000, 1,300, and 1,500. These are possible demand outcomes. Now I'm going to count how many of each are there in the data set. Okay, there are a couple of ways you can use. I'm going to use frequency. Okay, over here equal to frequency. Here's the data. Let me select all of them. Close it. Okay. Oh, sorry, not close it. We have another second input. Beans array. That's here. All right. And now you do not just press enter here. You hold Control, Shift, and press enter. Here we go. Now let me add them up to find out how many data entries we have. 40. Okay, that's correct. We have 40 data entries. Now let's find out their probabilities. This number divided by this number. I'm going to fix the reference to this total count. Drag it down. Here we go. So these are the probabilities. Now I have the probability for the demand. I can just copy this distribution from here to the template. So I collect the information here. So I'm going to paste it here. These are the possible demands. These are their corresponding probabilities. Paste value. Okay, so here we are. So I split this whole worksheet into three parts: parameters, model, repetition. This is the three parts we talked about earlier on in other examples. So every simulation model basically has these three parts. Parameters, these are just input parameters, including parameters or distribution. This is where we actually build the model. And once we have the model, this is where we ask Excel to generate different simulation instances. Okay, so we're going to simulate the operation for next 10 years. So I have year 1 through 10. So every year we need to find out their profit, the company's profit. But in order to find out the profit, we need to find out what happens over the course of a year. There are many things that's happening, and we need to generate a simulation model following the so-called sequence of events, which simply means the order in which events take place. So let's take a look here. What happens in every year? We have 10 years to simulate. Within each year, there are many events that are taking place. So you need to create columns to simulate what happens over the course of a year. How do you do that? You do it through thinking through the sequence of events, which is simply the order in which events take place. In other words, let's think about what happens next. Is there anything I need to record when something happens? Now let's think over the course of a year and find out what are the sequence of events. At the beginning of every year, the company needs to place an order. The order quantity is the quantity such that the available inventory is coming to 1200. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is just to place an order. So I'm going to record the order quantity of this order. Once I know the order quantity, what's next? Well, now I know my inventory is 1200 and then I can use it to fulfill the demand in the first half. So I would need to find out what's the first half demand. Okay, first half demand. That's something I don't know. That's something I need to simulate. And here's a best practice and my recommendation. Whenever you have something you need to simulate, add a column in front of it to record the random number. Random number. Okay, this is the column with a random number you're going to use for the first half demand. Okay, so what happens next? After you know the demand, then you can find out what's your actual sales quantities is. Okay, you can find out your sales quantity because the sales quantity is not necessarily your demand. If your order quantity, if your available inventory is less than the demand, then you cannot fulfill all the demand. Okay, you can only fulfill up to your available inventory. So I'm going to record first half sales quantity. Okay, after knowing my sales quantity, I will be able to know also my remaining inventory, how much I left. So first half ending inventory. And the reason we need this first half ending inventory is because then we need to use it to find out how much we need to order for the second half. The case says that you order the quantity such that the available inventory for second half comes to 1100. Okay, so I'm going to record it. Okay, this is the second half order quantity. I'm going to order the quantity such that the available inventory comes to 1100. What happens next? Well, now I know my available inventory for second half, then I can find out the second half demand. Second half demand. Again, this is something I need to simulate, so let me add a column in front of it for random numbers. Okay, you always do that when you try to simulate something. Once I know the second half demand, then what's next? Well, just like the first half, I can find out my sales quantity. Second half sales quantity and also my second half ending inventory. Okay, that's it. That's basically what happens over the course of a year. But in the end, we need to record the metrics, the performance we try to measure, the performance measure we care about. This is the profit. Okay, profit. But it's more than that. What is profit? Profit is just revenue minus cost. So we need to find out the revenue and cost. So let me find out the revenue and cost. Okay, so let me create a column of actually several columns. First, let me record the revenue. Also the cost. There are two costs. First ordering cost. First order cost. Okay, actually let me put it this way, total. First order total cost. Because we know for the first order, each unit cost me $80. But the problem is, in the second order, the unit ordering cost is uncertain. So I need to record that second order unit cost. And this is uncertain, something I need to simulate. So let me add a column for random number. Random number. random number to simulate this unit cost, and then with that, I can find out the second order total cost. Okay, second order total cost. Now I capture everything I need. I have revenue, I have cost for both orders, and the profit is just revenue minus cost. Okay, this is all the columns I need. Now I can come back here to populate the formulas. Okay, order quantity. For year one, what is my order quantity? My order quantity is simply 1200 minus whatever I have here. So that's simply this cell minus this cell. Okay, that's easy. Random number, okay. So you can actually put the random number here, but my preference, my suggestion is not at this point. You can give it a number, let's say 0.5 as a placeholder. The reason is you don't want randomness at this time, okay? Because you want to double check if your model is correct. So it will be actually easier if you just give it a number and use that number to perform the simulation and go through 1 year, okay, manually to see if you have all the columns. Okay, so now I'm going to simulate first half demand using this number. So VLOOKUP, okay, remember whenever you need to simulate something, uncertainty, you use VLOOKUP. But I forget one thing, we need the table for VLOOKUP, which I don't have here yet. So let me create that here. So first column is the mean of each bean, and what I'm trying to simulate is demand. So just copy the demand over here, mean of bean. The first one is always 0, then the next one is just the probability of the first outcome, and going forward, well, actually we can do it this way. This equals to this plus this probability. Drag it down. Okay, you can confirm that this is the same as what we did before. And let me do the same for this one as well. So unit cost, the resulting unit cost can be those numbers. Just copy them here. The first mean of bean is always 0. We have shown this many times before. This one is just this plus this. Okay. Here we go. Now I can simulate the demand by using VLOOKUP. We have done this many times. Okay, so first input is the random number. Second input is the table, the VLOOKUP table here. Putting $sign to fix the reference, comma. Return the second column over here, comma. True for approximate match. Okay, that's it. And what is our sales quantity? Well, remember, your sales quantity is not necessarily your demand. What if your demand is higher than your available inventory? For example, if the random number is 0.5, not 0.95, in this case, you cannot fulfill all the demand. Your actual sales quantity is only 1,200. You have 300 units of lost sales. So what should we do now? Well, this first half sales quantity should be actually this minimum. The smaller of your demand versus your available inventory. My available inventory is whatever I order plus whatever I start with. Okay, so my sales quantity, you see, it's only 1,200. What about my ending inventory? Well, this one is straightforward. I start off with order quantity plus whatever I begin with. Okay, this is what I start with minus the amount I sell. Okay, so that's my remaining inventory. There's nothing here because the demand is more than my initial inventory. So I basically use up all my inventory at this point. Now moving up to second half order quantity. How much do I order here? Well, I need to order the quantity to such that I will have this amount 1100 available for. So that means my order quantity is going to be simply equal to this target value minus the remaining inventory from the first half. Okay, next one. I need to simulate the demand random number. Again, now just give you a placeholder, any number. That's fine. Any number between 0 and 1 as a placeholder. Now V look up this random value. Demand follows the same distribution. Well, oops, let me do this. Okay, comma. This table, fixing the reference, comma, column 2, true. Okay, basically the same as the function for simulating demand in the first half. Okay, sales quantity, it's the same idea. It's the minimum between, is the smaller of the demand versus whatever inventory you have, which is the order quantity plus the remaining inventory here. Okay, this is actually just 1100. You can just put 1100 here. That should be fine. Okay, and then the ending inventory is simply whatever you have in the beginning of second half, which is ending inventory from first half plus order quantity minus the sales quantity. Okay, this is the ending inventory. That's it. Now we can come to revenue. Revenue is simply the retail price, okay, times the total sales quantity. So equal to the retail price over here. Okay, let me fix a reference times the total sales quantity. Okay, the sum of sales quantity in the first half plus the sales quantity in the second half. All right, that's revenue. First order total cost. All right, first order total cost. First order unit cost is 80. Order quantity is here. So the total ordering cost is simply unit cost, fix a reference, times the order quantity here. Next, second order unit cost, we need to simulate that. So let me give it a random number, arbitrary number, just to, as a placeholder. So now we need to VLOOKUP again, looking up this random number from now this table, fixing the reference, comma, returning still the second column in the table, and then finally true as before. That's the simulated unit cost, and the total ordering cost in the second order is simply this unit cost times the number of order quantity, second half order quantity. All right, so finally the profit is simply revenue minus both cost, first and second.